What's that? Oh, over there. Okay, welcome everyone to our January 14th, 2025 council meeting. We always begin our council meetings with our land acknowledgement. The municipality of Tweed recognizes that our work takes place on traditional Indigenous territories, including the Huron-Wendat, the Anishinaabe, and the Haudenosaunee peoples. We recognize and respect history, languages, and cultures of the First Nations, Métis, and Inuit, and all Indigenous peoples, whose presence continues to enrich our communities. Miigwech. Please join us now in O Canada. Oh, Canada, our home to land. Through the pain of love, in our sky, with sweet sea rise, God to our strong and free. From far of the world, we stand on our glory. Lord, we stand on God. We stand on God. Thank you, everyone. Classes are cockeyed. Could I have a mover and a seconder for the approval of today's agenda meeting, please? Thank you, Deputy Mayor Marsh. Thank you, Councillor Valley-Cat. Be it resolved that the agenda for the January 14th, 2025 regular council meeting be approved as presented. All in favor? Thank you. Are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest? Seeing none. Oh, please, I forgot to mention that Councillor Palmetier is going to be a little late this morning as they are having an issue on the farm, and he will be in here as soon as he can. Adoption of minutes. We have a series of minutes that need to be adopted. Minutes from October 17th, 2024, special council meeting. Minutes from October 31st, 2024, special council meeting. And minutes from December 10th, 2024, regular council meeting. And minutes from December 18th, 2024, budget meeting. Could I have a mover and a seconder to table those minutes, please? Thank you, Councillor Valley-Cat. Thank you, Deputy Mayor Demarche. Are there any comments on any of those said minutes?
One Mayor, should we acknowledge that you attended virtually on that one?
Oh, did it not say that? Okay, you'll fix it. Thank you very much.
I just think they wondered why I was chairing the meeting.
Okay, no, thank you. Be it resolved that the minutes of the October 17th, 2024 special council meeting, October 31, 2024 special council meeting, December 10th, 2024 regular council meeting as amended, and the December 18th, 2024 budget meeting as adopted, as presented. All in favor? Thank you. Notification of a closed meeting. The council will be holding a closed meeting during the regular council meeting pursuant to section 2392 of the Municipal Act 2001 SO C25 as amended to consider the following matters. B, personal matters about an identified individual, including municipal or local board employees. D, labor relations or employee negotiations. And E, litigation or potential litigations, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality or local board. Excuse me, Mayor's remarks. Your council wishes you a very happy new year. May 2025 bring many blessings to you and your loved ones. December was a busy month. On the 10th, I attended a Sterling Rawdon evening council meeting as chair of the Hastings County Planning and Economic Development Committee. The following day, I chaired the Belleville General Hospital Foundation Finance Committee meeting. On December 17th, I attended the Hastings County Christmas Luncheon, and on the 18th, we held our third 2025 budget meeting, focusing on service fees and community requests, along with fine-tuning other budget items. That same afternoon, I participated in the Food for All Committee at the Gateway Community Health Center. On December 19th, I met with Karen Fisher from OMAFRA and Christine McLean to discuss economic development opportunities. Unfortunately, Christine, Hastings County Small Business Coordinator, has accepted a position with Kawartha Lakes. She will be greatly missed, and we wish her all the best in her new role. Hastings Council has not yet announced a replacement. The new year started off strong. On January 2nd, I attended the Kiwanis executive meeting, and on the 3rd, I conducted an exit interview with CAO Ray Bone. On January 6th, we welcomed interim CAO Kelly Pender, who met with Lucas Wales, Councillor Valleycat, a local developer, and me to discuss a promising new housing development project. On January 9th, I attended a Belleville General Hospital Foundation meeting, followed by a Quinte Health meeting the next day, where we continued discussions on equipment needs with all four foundations present. On the 13th, I joined the Center for Workforce Development Regional Roundtable on workforce development, where it was encouraging to see MPP Crampton Nyman in attendance. It was also an opportunity for mayors, MPs, and MPPs to hear from a variety of groups on the concerns they are facing. As one might expect, key recurring themes included the need for a regional transit network, affordable housing, healthcare, and access to doctors, skills development, living wages, and the need for federal and provincial governments to work with municipalities to come up with creative solutions. I've also been preparing for this year's Roma delegations, and I'm pleased that Minister Surma, Minister of Finance, has agreed to meet with us again. MPP Brise plans to join us, and we are optimistic about the approval of 2 critical funding applications currently under consideration by her ministry. The first is the Housing Enabling Water Systems Fund, a $5 million project to upgrade water, sewer, and storm drainage systems in the George and James Street areas, supporting a 40-unit affordable housing complex and a 24-unit subdivision. And then our second, the Housing Enabling Core Services Fund, is an $8.4 million proposal addressing critical infrastructure failures, including 3 bridges and Flinton Road. We also have a delegation scheduled with Bonnie Crombie, leader of the Liberal Party, and with Merritt Stiles, leader of the opposition and the NDP. I have reached out to Green Party Mike Schreiner as well. It is vital that all political parties understand the challenges faced by small rural and northern communities, which mirrors those in urban centers: housing crisis, food insecurity, homelessness, healthcare concerns, relentless inflation, and a massive infrastructure funding deficit. Additionally, I have a joint meeting with Roma with Robin Jones, who is the president of Roma, and Krista Lowry, president of Roma, to advocate for greater visibility on these issues. I've been in touch with them, sending them updates of what we are facing here in the community, and they would like to meet with me to see what we can all do together. My Roma delegation with Hydro One and a developer has been approved and will focus on the urgent need for affordable housing and cost-effective access to the grid. I'd like to highlight a January 22nd article from the Globe and Mail on the national infrastructure deficit. That article is under Mayor's remark and as an information item in our package. It noted in 1955, local governments owned just 20% of Canada's infrastructure. Today, that figure is more than half, which has created a ridiculously unsustainable financial burden on any order of government relying principally on property taxes as its source of revenue. We all know that this province, this country, is facing a tsunami of imminent critical infrastructure failure. These challenges become more severe the longer they are left unaddressed and will ultimately lead to catastrophic consequences. We will continue to sound the alarm on aging infrastructure. This crisis demands immediate action. We cannot continue to turn a blind eye on this impending disaster. We call upon the federal and provincial governments to join us municipalities in our efforts to find cost-effective and creative solutions to fixing our crumbling infrastructure. As leaders, we can no longer sit on the fence. We must make difficult decisions, even if it requires significant investment and the unpopular act of raising taxes. Leadership means taking action, not deferring responsibility for the sake of political convenience. Do we have the backbone, the resolve to do the right thing, or will the desire to win the next election supersede ethical judgment? This will be a message I'll be carrying forward to all of my delegations. On a final note, I was surprised when MPP Brise, in his recent Quinte News interview on 2024 Hastings County accomplishments, could only highlight projects in Lennox and Addington. Another Quinte News article asked about what will 2025 be like for Hastings County. I was disappointed by his suggestion that the provincial government is responsible for recent doctor recruitments. Credit belongs to Hastings County Doctor Recruitment Initiative and to Mayo Hako, Executive Director of Gateway Community Health Center. Given that healthcare is a provincial responsibility, Hastings County might want to consider billing the government for its efforts. However, give credit where credit is due. Thank you, MPP Brise, for advocating for a number of long-term care facilities across the country. Well done. 2025 looks to be another interesting year, potentially with 2 elections on the horizon. My hope is that our municipality will finally receive the financial support it deserves. I requested a joint meeting with our MP and MPP to present these issues facing our community, and both have agreed. Let's make this year one of progress and action for our municipality. Together, we can face these challenges head on. Thank you. Okay, a notice of motion. We have a notice of motion. I'm going to ask the notice of motion is coming from Councillor Valiquette. It's on a skating surface on Stokoe Lake. I'm going to ask you to read your motion if you would for us. Thank you.
Be it resolved that council directs staff to investigate the viability of clearing both the skating surface on the lake near Memorial Park, as well as the skating path down the west side of the lake for this year. The skating surface will be prepared to coincide with the Tweed Winter Carnival, and in subsequent years to start in December 1st and end in February on the 28th as weather permits. And further, these skating surfaces be promoted as being areas where accumulated snow is removed to encourage and facilitate the residents' use and self-maintenance, while staff would utilize municipal equipment such as the old public works sidewalk plow, the John Deere, to provide maintenance for snow removal only. And further, that the thickness of the ice would be tested at a minimum of 2 separate locations prior to staff or equipment working on the ice surface, and commencing only when a confirmation of 8 inches of ice, when there's 8 inches of ice. The removal of snow would be at the discretion of the Parks and Rec supervisor and not follow a set schedule. And further, that appropriate signage would be erected advising users that they are utilizing the lake at their own risk.
Could I have a seconder for that motion? Thank you, Deputy Mayor DeMarche. Any comments on that motion? Yes, please go ahead, Councillor Filio.
I just worry about the liability, and I know Ottawa does the Rideau Canal and they have it's a great success. I agree with this 100%, but I just want to make sure that that we're covered and yeah, that's it. I just safety first.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Councillor Filio. Any other comments? Yes, Deputy Mayor DeMarche.
I think something like this would be better served if, we normally don't do decisions on the same day, but we wait for the next council meeting, that's 2 or 3 weeks less that it would be utilized. So I guess the question is, can it be done sooner than later, and how much effort would this take to get this up and rolling? Like, I don't even know how much ice is out there. Like, it's not something I think can wait too long before you approve it, just because of.
Well, I think if we
right?
approve it today, then Jay can get back to us. Jay, what's your thought on this, Jay?
Well, I have no problem doing this. Now, I was on social media on the weekend. I know Belleville waits till there's a minimum of 9 inches of ice. I don't know if that's insurance reason why. I'm not exactly sure, but I have no problem doing something like that. And we could get at it as soon as possible.
Yes, Councillor Valiquette.
So just to follow up and kind of build what I, on my motion. So, this is totally at the discretion of the department. So there's no set schedule. We would need to articulate with, the community that this is something that just because it snowed a little bit today doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be out there, because there may be other priorities that take precedence over clearing snow off the lake. And it's not about creating an ice surface that is, similar to what we skate on in the arena. It's just about getting it down so there's enough, so there's a minimal amount of snow that if residents decided they want to clear it, they could. And then again, signage just to hopefully mitigate our liability. And you know, as far as liability goes, as a municipality, anything that we touch, look at, breathe on, we're essentially liable for in some stretch of somebody's imagination somewhere. We provide we provide docks around the lake in the summertime, which realistically there could be a tragedy. You know, we participate and have very little control over the fair, where there could be and have been things that have happened in the past. On our own skating surface, we've had people who've been injured, and none of that is not because of lack of attention. It's just because things happen sometimes. So I don't disagree with Councillor Fleeler that we need to be aware that there's some risk involved, but I don't think as a municipality, we should be totally risk adverse. I think that we can accept a certain amount of that and move forward. When I look at our banner on the internet, it says the municipality of Tweed, and it refers to the things in our backyard. And the lake is something that we push when it's accessible to boats, but we never really do anything. I guess there might be some ice fishing stuff that's out there occasionally, but there's really nothing that is that says, hey, come to Tweed and, you know, skate on our lake or do something like that in the wintertime. And this would just take advantage of that. And to me, there seems to be a minimal commitment from the municipality, you know, at the discretion of the supervisor. And on that note, I do believe, and we could check with Ryan, but that old John Deere is available to do that kind of thing. And again, if the trackless broke down, the John Deere would become the priority of clearing the sidewalks and not the lake. But just a common sense kind of approach to utilizing this and working together departmentally to get it done.
What you will likely see too, if this is something that we embrace as a council, and it's going to be fun for the community, you will probably see young people out there shoveling it off if there's this light amount of snow on there anyway. So I think it's going to be it's a wonderful community initiative, and I agree. It's nice to be able to use our lake more than just in certain periods. Let's use it all year round when we can. Okay. Yes, Jay. Any other comments?
Oh, I was just gonna say, I've noticed that somebody's actually has shoveled off a spot.
Okay, there you go.
And they have been using it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you. Yes, Councillor
Your
Fleeler.
worship, Jay has mentioned also that the minimum of 9 inches ice, so we should make sure that we maintain that policy. If that's what it is, 9 inches. I think.
And the supervisor isn't wrong. Belleville, they're on Victoria Harbor, down by Zwick's Park.
Yeah.
And yes, they do. Their policy is 9 inches of ice before they go out on it. Generally, what I'm finding is, and I haven't scientifically done any research, but I've just looked at a whole bunch of ice thickness charts, and it seems to be 8 to 12 inches is generally what you could put a small car or little truck on, which would accommodate, I believe, the plow safely. But again, we'd have to decide what thickness you want, and we'd have to follow that and record it. Yeah.
Yes, Deputy.
Through the mayor to Councillor Valiquette. So would you be okay with a minor amendment of you've got stated 8 inches of ice, you could maybe put at the discretion of the public works? Or
No, I don't want to say at the discretion. I would say that either we leave it at 8 or go to 9. Go ahead.
I think a minimum of 8, honestly, and then at your discretion, if you felt, you know, there was a need to wait to see that there was more ice like the first time in the year. I personally think that that's okay, but
Okay.
Right, like for like weather, like the like what am I trying to say? when it warms up, like if it's warm out, maybe not do anything, yeah. Yeah, okay, yeah. I'm good with that.
Yeah, so we're,
Okay, well, then maybe what we should be focusing on, if we could maybe work with the CAO and come up with a little policy which will direct this, because I mean, like, I don't want to throw all the responsibility onto Jay. Like, I want him to have some guidelines that have been written and approved. So let's make it happen. And in the meantime, we'll work with the CAO on coming up, like maybe going to Belleville and finding out what they have as their policy and doing it and bringing it back. But I would like to see it done sooner rather than later, the rink. Okay, and it is over 8 inches now, I believe, right? I know my pond is at home. I can't believe I'm gonna have any fish living this year, even though I've got trying to keep it open. It's big. Okay, are we okay with that? Okay, so let me just go back. Okay, so we had a mover and a seconder. I guess I would like to say all in favor of the motion as presented, and then asking the CAO to come up with a policy which will help guide the management and governance of the proposed motion. Are we okay with that? All in favor? Thank you. Public planning, we now have a public planning meeting. Okay, so typically when we have a public planning meeting, it's like we move outside, and so I'm calling this next meeting to order. Are there any disclosures or pecuniary interest or nature thereof on this public planning meeting? Seeing none. Okay, the meeting is this public meeting is public meeting to deal with zoning bylaw amendment number ZA 21/24. Is there anybody here from the public that or online that would like to comment on this? Okay, is the proponent here and would they like to comment? Seeing no to both. Is there anybody on council that has any questions or comments? Seeing none. Okay, this concludes the public meeting. So, okay, the public meeting, and I could have a mover and a seconder. I should have had done this first, sorry. The public meeting, as I mentioned, is ZA 21/24. Applicant is Tricia Orzik and Rafael Gomez. The location is part lot of 7 Concession 2 Queensboro Road. The purpose and effect of the proposed zoning bylaw amendment is to change the zoning of approximately 0.5 acres severed lot A from rural RU zone to the rural residential holding RR-8 zone and the approximate 75 acre severed lot B and 49.9 acre retained parcel from the RU zone to the rural holding RUH zone. The holding provisions of both the RRH zone and the RU-H zone shall be removed by bylaw once the owner obtains the required permits and approval of the Quinte Conservation Authority, which there are no objections. I think I saw there were no objections on this. Was it? Okay. And the owner has submitted a satisfactory grading and drainage plan for the severed lot, created by consent file B18/24 and the retained lands. The portions of this subject property, Zone Environmental Protection EP, shall remain unchanged. The rezoning of the severed lot A to RR-H and the severed lot B to RU-H and the retained lot to RU-H are conditions of severance B17 and 18/24 and will provide for the appropriate zoning for the size and the use of the new parcels. Could I have a mover and a seconder, please? Thank you, Councillor Flaler, and thank you, Councillor Valiquette. We've had our meeting. There have been no objections. Be it resolved that council authorize staff to bring forward an amending bylaw at the next regular council meeting. All in favor? Thank you. Delegations and petitions. Well, I welcome Victoria Treverton from Central Hastings Support Network. If you'd like to come up to the podium, and I want to make sure that that's on. I'll just do a little introduction here. Victoria is she is the executive director, if you will, of the Central Hastings Support Network. And she manages the food distribution program over there for people in need and whatnot. This group also, a number of years ago, in partnership with Marmora and Lake, agreed to take on the responsibility of a rural transit network. This was a number of years ago. Even when I was on council, my last term, we were supporting this initiative. And the reason why Marmora and Lake took control of, started the project is you needed a municipality to be able to access the provincial gas tax money for transit. You needed a municipality involved. So they took it on for us. They are the ones that coordinated, but we all support it. And when I say we, it's Sterling Rawdon, Center Hastings, Marmora and Lake, Madoc Township, and the municipality of Tweed. And this project has been going on for some time. COVID hit, disrupted the whole project. And so trying to do that the best they could, they came up with other creative solutions, which became cost prohibitive in the management of the transit portion of this. And so we have been working, a group of us, the mayors, and United Way and county have been working with Victoria to look at a solution to keep this going, because as Victoria is going to share with us, there is a huge demand. And I mentioned to you when I was at that workforce development session in near Belleville yesterday, the big thing was regional transit. So you're going to be talking about the importance of transit. That came up everywhere in each of the round tables that I went to. And the thing is I think this is our solution right now, but I think there's going to be a move to make this a regional, that Belleville, all of us are linked and everybody is paying into a more what you would call a regular transit system. So I've worked with Victoria on this in a number of different ways. And so I'm great faith with what she's come up with. And so, by the way, will I say United Way, who worked with Victoria, as do all the mayors who have been actively engaged, okay, and trying to keep this transit system going. Over to you and welcome.
Right. Well, thank you. That takes up most of the information I had here, so that's great. Thanks, John.
No problem. Sorry about that.
No, that's great. So I just wanted to draw your attention to the package that you were provided. A note on statistical data, first of all. We gathered the data throughout October and November, and it does reflect a very specific amount of time, which was the first 6 months of our fiscal year, from April 1st until the end of September. I just want to note that those numbers do change, and I'll go into that a little bit. Seasonally, of course, we don't have as many students in the summertime, and seasonal work is obviously an issue as well. So we do believe, though, that the numbers here reflect, generally speaking, the nature of our ridership throughout the year. And of course, Don pointed out as well the help the United Way supplied to us. It was really instrumental in setting up the principles under which we operated in order to develop this plan going forward. So just to speak to the background as well, as of from 2012 until 2024, there was a huge reliance on large buses on fixed routes going through our rural roads, and there weren't enough people to fill those large buses. So they moved to smaller buses with modified routes, and then COVID hit, and now we're running transit vans, which are accessible. They come with ramps and assistive handrails. And we run them on smaller routes, and we ride share as much as possible. However, I think responding to public demand for that door-to-door service. CHSN started relying on volunteer drivers for the most part, and that is huge in our reimbursement schedule. It takes up a majority of the costs and our resources for that model.
So
And-
if I may just. for a
Yes,
moment.
go ahead.
So when we refer to them as volunteer,
Mhm.
there is a payment, even though they're.
They are reimbursed just for their mileage, not for their time.
Okay, thank
That's
you.
correct,
Thank you.
yes. So right now we're running transit vans and volunteer drivers. Going forward, we'd like to modify that plan a little bit. Instead of an on-demand, we're going to more towards fixed routes because it's frankly more efficient that way. So in addition to the user fees that we charge for services, which are pretty moderate, they're much cheaper than taxis, but a little bit more than a city bus because we can't fill, we don't have the volume that a city bus might. We also get funding from the municipalities that we serve. The United Way provides us with funding every year. Up until recently, we had homelessness prevention program funding. Unfortunately, that's not going into 2025, but I think we understand why. And also the provincial gas tax, which is a significant portion of our operating budget. So what does that mean for your area? So you'll see from the information package that medical drives throughout the years have pretty much been.
Do you want to direct
consistent.
Lucas? So, because we're showing this publicly as well.
This is great. Okay, so the historical ridership, awesome. Our medical rides have been relatively consistent. We've seen some spikes there in 2020, obviously, but they remain the same. It's public transit that's really been the issue. The concern is not medical transit rides. Those have been provided consistently. The model works well. Public transit, on the other hand, you can see is quite, it doubled in the first year that I was executive director. So, let's go ahead a little bit. Yeah, these are the individuals. Yep. Let's go back to the people that we support. Yeah. So, primarily, vulnerable individuals and workers are the top two people that we support. Vulnerable individuals include people with developmental, mental health, and physical disabilities. Those people, that also includes seniors. Our workers, students, people who are in transition, they're in specialized programming in order to update their training, and then the general public who are unable to have reliable transportation. This is an issue of poverty. This isn't an issue of convenience for a lot of people. We have no one who's parking their car because they have enough money to pay for their insurance and their gas. This is specific to the people who are in need and people in need of medical care, of course. So last year, all those people, we supported over 25,000 rides. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, those were the rides scheduled in 2024, which is a significant number for a staff of 3 people. So, and this is what it looks like by municipality. This is specifically public transportation, anything except medical. And you can see that Tweed, I believe, let me see here. That 38.5, sorry. Yeah, 38.5. So that's specific to that 6-month period from April to September. And then we're in the middle of the pack for medical rides, which is the next one at 19%. That represents 85 people. That's 85 people to and from work, 85 people to and from, not individually, but 85 total people, again, in that 6-month period, topped only by Centre Hastings, which was 109 people. So if we break it down a little bit further, you can see that primarily those people are getting to work. About 62% of the people that we're serving from Tweed area are getting to work, which I don't think I need to beat you over the head with the idea that we know what that means in terms of work, in terms of community investment and so forth. That's a significant number of the people that need to contribute to their community.
Can I
So,
interject for one moment?
yeah, go
I want
ahead.
to share a story. When the whole concept of this transit system was under review and under question, a number of people within the community had reached out to me, expressing their concerns and the importance of this. And I'm going to cite an example with no names, but speaking to the fact that this family relied on that transit system to get the individual to Belleville to work. If they could not get to Belleville to work, there were severe implications for the family. Not only the fact that the person would be let go because they can't get to work, they would lose their job, but they were going to lose their medical benefits as well. And there were issues of people in the family that needed certain supports. And they were devastated because it was going to cause complete upheaval and disruption and a lot of mental stress for the family. So this is why, even though we look at this and we say, well, it's somebody getting to their job, it does have major consequences, okay, if this type of service isn't provided. Okay,
And
back to you.
that kind of leads into my next point as well, that the medical rides aren't, they do include visits to your family physician, but it also means dialysis several times a week. It also means cancer treatments, going to Toronto or a dental care and that kind of thing, that kind of thing. And I think thinking about the people that we're actually serving, although the number doesn't seem significant in our overall population, it does, rural transit does contribute to the vitality of our health and well-being across our communities. So I think we've already talked a bit about what happened. Let's go into the transit proposal. When the United Way stepped in, our concern was to develop these principles that we wanted to make sure that we reduced the operating costs to us and made more use of our actual resources. We knew that on-call demand had to be limited. It might need a 24 to 48-hour period. And so that we could provide consistent service and make sure that it led into predictability and sustainability, because that's where we got into last year, where we were trying to meet everybody's demands and spreading ourselves way too thin. We knew that access to education, employment, and basic needs were the priorities in order to break the cycles of poverty, and we're open to collaborative solutions, which was what you were speaking about early. We are absolutely looking at how we can work with Belleville Transit, Bancroft Transit, and Quinte Transit, Quinte Access Transit. So that being said, our conventional transit is going to change in the following ways. These are the proposed changes. We would have increased reliance on ride sharing. We would prioritize volunteers who have multi-seater vans. We want dedicated use of transit vans where costs won't be recouped, because we can obviously pay those people on an hourly wage and it's just more efficient. We want advance payment for services, a cap on service numbers, which doesn't seem fair right now, but right now, while we stabilize, it's the most economical solution. We want to continue to prioritize workers, students, and vulnerable population. Fixed transit schedules and fixed stops in Belleville. Right now, we're doing door to door. But I think for people who are able-bodied, for people who have no mobility issues, there's no reason why we can't meet at one location and then drop them off in Belleville, and then Belleville can use their transit services rather than taking multiple people to different locations in Belleville. It's just not efficient for us. And it doesn't lead to a good schedule. So we want.
Excuse me if I may interject
Yeah,
again.
go ahead.
And that's what Victoria is talking about, entering into a relationship with Belleville, that
Mhm.
once they drop you off at the Central Belleville Depot, you can get onto their bus, get a transfer and get onto their bus and go to where you have to go within that.
Yes.
And that's what we're working on.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And dedicated times for and days for in-town transit. We don't have a budget for town-to-town transit right now. As you can imagine, taking somebody from Marmora and bringing them over to Tweed Gateway, although we would like to do it, it's just too far of a distance right now for that. So that is something that we will look into at the next stage of our developing this program. But the idea is that we would have people outside of the Tweed area, volunteers, drivers, bringing people into Tweed to access healthcare services and necessities of life, groceries, and that kind of thing. We want small rate increases for monthly passes and transit fares, advanced scheduling to reduce the administrative burdens. We have a lot of people calling like we're a taxi service, and we just want to remind people that that's not what we're doing. And we're going to substitute the term public for conventional, which follows the legislative, the MTO terminology, and it really aligns better to what we're doing as well. It's more of a conventional thing rather than public, open to anyone and all means. So a sample of the conventional services available would be, for example, Belleville is our highest demand, so we would send somebody in the morning at a regular time and then come back between 3 and 5 p.m. Those would be fixed locations, hopefully with transfers to the mall or Loyalist, wherever the demand is. And we would use our vans and supplemented by volunteer vans as well. Our local transit would run more on a schedule. So it would be a Monday to Friday, maybe 10 to 2, those off hours from the Belleville trips, maybe Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We do Madoc Township and Tweed, and then alternating to Tuesdays and Thursdays, and alternate Fridays, Sterling and Marmora. Again, it's just a sample. We have to make sure that that's going to be workable for the people that we're serving. And travel to the nearest town only with fixed drop-off or pickup location, nearest town, yeah. And then again, CHSN vans and supplemented by volunteer drivers. This is not nearly as coordinated and concrete as what we're doing right now. Right now, we're sort of pulling and serving everybody all at once, and it just needs to be more organized. We'd see a small monthly pass increase, which is, it would go up to $250 a month, which is quite a lot. These are for people
Go to
who
the
are,
next one, Lucas.
yep. It's for people who are going to work. Right now, we're charging between $160 and $200. We would like to standardize that and make it $250. The issue is that that's, when you're thinking about public transit in Belleville, that's an astronomical amount, right? People are charged $30 or $40 or $50, but that's not what we have. Sorry. I don't know. Is it? Oh, sorry. But it costs us with volunteer drivers, it costs us sometimes over $1,000 a month to get these people where they need to go. And one way would be $22. Nearest home drop off would be $8. Our specialized transit is not going to change too much, but except for the, we will have to have a cap on monthly passes, and we will continue to ride share and do door-to-door support. These are vulnerable individuals. We don't expect them to jump on public transit in a safe way. We want to make sure that we're supporting people with disabilities, whatever kind of disability that they have, and individual seniors as well. And of course, we'll move to, instead of just medical transit, which kind of leans towards the idea that we are taking people to doctor's appointment, that specialized transit is really key, because we want to make sure that people who are going to the day program, say at COPE or something like that, that also we take quite a few people to Pathways in Belleville as well. We want to make sure that they're supported, and that will remain door to door and mostly volunteer service. Okay, so we wanted to reestablish the Rural Transit Advisory Committee, which through a number of circumstances just didn't meet throughout 2024. And we have appointees who are going to be coming to those meetings. We're in the process right now of establishing those fixed stops and reaching out to Belleville to explore the possibility of those transfers. And we are looking to online booking systems. We have some basic forms right now, but we would like to do something. We're applying for a number of grants in order to get something that is going to take up, free up half of our day. And then down the road, yeah, we would like to look for cooperation and collaboration with Bancroft and Quinte West and Belleville to operate those regional services. Right now, like I say, we're just exploring the opportunity, but we want to fund larger vehicles as well, so that we can meet the needs of more people all at once. We won't be able to go back to large buses. We just don't have the ridership for that, but certainly larger, and re-implement that town-to-town transit as well. So any questions about that?
I just wanted to mention also at that meeting, at the education table, at the meeting yesterday, President Kirkpatrick from Loyalist College was speaking when I was at his table. And he was saying that Loyalist College spends hundreds of thousands of dollars on student transportation. And they're not equipped nor funded to spend that kind of money. So it was emphasizing the importance of this regional transit network in order to accommodate the needs of a wide variety of people with different needs and accessibility issues. So I think that was a takeaway, and everybody emphasized the importance of working on that regional transportation network. So we got to make sure that if that starts to surface, that we are definitely engaged and
At
involved.
the table, yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Any questions from the, I do have, oh, go ahead. Go ahead. I was going to ask you what you're looking for this year. Go ahead.
This is just more of a long-term
Sure.
goal or question as you start to affiliate with Belleville and Quinte West and Bancroft. Would you be looking at having, like, say, one pass, and somebody from Belleville who had a pass would be able to get on a bus and go to Bancroft?
It's certainly a possibility. We would like that for the convenience of our users, absolutely. I think to know, we want to make sure that we are autonomous in our operation of our own region, because we are connected to the people that we serve. And through conversations at Opta and whatnot with Quinte West and Bancroft, while regional transit is a goal for all of us, we want to make sure that we're still serving our area. So if there's a demand for something, we certainly want to honor that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
The other thing is, I think traditionally our contribution to the program has been $3,000 a year. I think there's a definite need to provide further assistance, and I think you've been reaching out to municipalities for at least $5,000 a year.
I think that was initially in, I think it was in the plan before I came on board. With this new transit plan, we have not built in an increase for the municipalities. Eventually, we would like to get there, but for 2025, we're satisfied with the $3,000. We understand the demands on the municipalities that we serve, and certainly as the time comes, we may ask for more, or we may start to introduce that increase to 5,000, but at this time, 3,000 is sufficient. What we're looking for in terms of support is, I guess, letters of support when we apply for these grants, bringing us to the table when you're talking about transit, and when you're talking about issues of poverty. And yeah, that's the extent of it for what we're doing.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions?
I wanted to note as well that I did see that you've included my letter about homelessness in the information package. And I wanted to thank you for that. I'm not speaking to that as the executive director of CHSN today, but it is an issue that's close to my heart personally. So I do appreciate it.
Close to your heart, and also something you're exposed to on a regular basis.
I'm exposed to on a regular basis, right?
So
in that
thank you.
capacity. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much, Victoria. Good luck to you. Thank you for keeping this going. It's crucial to our community, and we're so happy to be part of this process.
That's
Okay,
right.
and we will keep you informed of
Yeah,
everything.
let me know. I will keep
Okay,
you informed.
yes, thank you. Okay. Oops, let me just close this file. Okay, moving on to the department reports. Could I have a mover and a seconder to table the administration department update as of January 8th, 2024, please? Movers, thank you, Deputy Mayor Marsh. Thank you, Councillor Valley-Kett. Over to you, Kevin.
Thank you, Mayor. The report is fairly self-explanatory. The director, manager, of Public Works, and I did attend a Quinte regional waste meeting yesterday morning in Sterling Rodden. And thanks to the Sterling Rodden staff for hosting us. We did have a number of discussions around the hazardous waste and e-waste. As everybody's aware, the changes the province is making to delivery will affect everything from our schedules to our hazardous waste depots. For the hazardous waste and information, both Belleville and Quinte West are going to proceed with a joint RFP to service the region. The way the RFP will go out is with the current service level, which for Tweed is 2 depots per year for hazardous waste. Once the prices are known, then this council can select either a higher level of service or a lower level of service based upon ability to pay and what you feel the community desires. So that is the first order of business. Most of the municipalities in the room had already signed their agreements with Circular Waste Ontario. We are still in the process because Farmer and Lake was the only one in the room that still hadn't signed. So that will be coming back to council shortly.
Wasn't there a concern with us, though, that they did not acknowledge our depot? When they were doing this initial processing and everything, and that's why we haven't signed, because we were waiting for them to build us back into our depot into this.
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's not that we were negligent in not signing. There was a circumstance that needed.
Ongoing negotiation.
Exactly. Okay, so thank you. Now, this is supposed to take place, I think, implement around July or something. One of the things I want to get way ahead of this, because this does have major implications for recycle pickup within our community. And for example, businesses are no longer going to be picked up. Government operations, charitable organizations are not going to be picked up. This is, to me, the whole process is stupid. Okay, that it's not inclusive, not reflection on you, nor a representative with Quinte Waste, but it's going to cause a great deal of upheaval and confusion. I want us to get way ahead of this before July, so that we are managing expectations and have people know, and that if people are upset, not to get upset with us, but to get upset with the government, because this is the new government mandate on how they want to deal with recycling within our province. Okay, we have no control in this other than to represent the best interests of our municipality. So anybody have any questions? Yes, please go ahead, Councilor Valiquette.
With circular materials not doing businesses, are we going to reach out to businesses who may be caught off guard, not knowing that what they have isn't going to?
Well, that's why I want to get way ahead of this, months ahead of this, so that people know what's going to happen, and we're going to have to find an alternative way. Like they might have to take it to the recycling depot themselves. We're just not quite sure how that's going to be done. Yes, Deputy.
And through the mayor to Councillor Valiquette, that's been some of the discussion and how this council is going to have to wish to deal with the exempt properties, I guess is the right word. Some townships are talking about having those go directly to the landfills. Others are saying we may pick them up ourselves. It's all over the board. So that's something that we'll have to cost in a way as a council.
Major headache, because you look at downtown here, you have a business below, you have somebody renting above. Okay, so now all of a sudden the recycling's out in front of the business. Does the recycler, the person picking it up saying, well, is that actually the person's residence recycling or the business recycling? Is the business going to try and stick recycling into the residential one? Like it's just a freaking nightmare. Okay, that's why we need to get ahead of this sooner rather than later. And I know the whole thing is still under development and negotiation and whatnot, but that's where we're at. Another headache for us. Yes, Councillor Fleeler.
Your worship, when I served on the board,
There was never an issue?
not like it is today. But I suggested that maybe or these manufacturers could work with the system that we had in place.
That was supposed to be the intent originally.
I don't know why it got to where it is right now.
Me neither.
Another question. I know it's cross border, but there's a big facility being built in Selby, just north of Selby. Are we able to use that facility, or is that, because that's in Lennox and Addington now? So could we make a deal with those people? I don't know. It's like our mayor says, it's a nightmare.
Go ahead, Kelly.
Yeah, I don't know. I drive by every day and I wave at it, but I suggest the best thing we can do is probably work with our neighbors and have a similar approach. Part of the responsibility within the agreement with Circular Waste Ontario is for communications. And it would be really nice to be able to say that this is the regional approach. And that, as
Yes.
to the mayor's point, spread some of the blame and the risk and and makes the message consistent. But certainly we can reach out to LNA and see what kind of opportunities there are there. I don't know for sure that. that's a
Well,
possibility.
if I may, rather than distract, okay, and it was a good, a good point to raise. I think we want to make this a regional approach, and so let's work with this. And rather than look at a side deal or whatever, because at this point, it's just going to be another distraction, and then this is a short window. Okay, this is a short window. Okay, so are you okay, Councilor Fluter?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. But it was a good point to raise.
And I will say once again, I mean, this is a province-wide thing,
Mhm.
444 municipalities, that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Thank you.
Work it.
Please go ahead, Councilor Valiquette.
Just for the CIO really quickly, just looking at who's GL.
Oh, sorry. Should be GR.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Fast finger, slow brain.
That's okay.
It's okay. Anything
I
else?
figured, but I wasn't sure. Yeah.
Anything else you would like to raise in particular, Kelly? Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate your being here. Appreciate your helping us out through this transition period. Okay, I'm just going to go back here. Be it resolved that council received the administration department update as of January 2025 as presented. All in favor? Thank you. Okay, could I have a mover and a seconder to table the initial development charges study, please? Thank you, Councillor Valiquette. Thank you, Councillor Fleeler. Are there any questions on that? We have talked about this. We are one of the few municipalities in Hastings County that does not have a development fee. However, when I'm making my presentations, I'm talking about this is a great community for the province to invest in because we don't have a development fee. So, because that can add to the cost of a building, but this is something that we seriously need to do. It generates well over $1 million for Sterling a year. So it's, and I don't know if anybody's noticed, their fees are going through the roof. So what we're doing is, we had to do a number of initial studies. There was a water and sewer study that had to be done. There was a road transit, a road network study that had to be done. These have been done. We're doing our master recreation plan, which will probably be tabled with us in February, end of February, beginning of March. And all these studies and these investments that we have made had to be done before we could proceed to the next one. So we're ready to move to the next one, which is engaging an organization to basically walk us through and help us develop a fee schedule for this. Are there any questions? Yes, go ahead.
Mayor, I think it's important going forward why we are going this way. I think, you know, with we want added growth, we want development, but with that comes added responses from the fire, added responses from police, public works and parks and rec, as well as added stress on our infrastructure. And as we've noted many times in the past, we simply don't have the resources to keep funding this without additional help. So I think the messaging going along with this is going to be important, that why we're doing this.
Well, I think too, in very valid points. And one of the things is this, there is a mindset out there, which is, you know, one that I do embrace, that new development should help pay for increase. Like, you know, it shouldn't be existing taxpayers always paying for these new things that are, and the demands on new things, or if we have to expand our library, if we have to build a new arena, like, you know, it's because of these extra demands. And so that's why we're looking at doing a development fee. So thank you very much for that. Any other questions? Be it resolved that council receive the report, initial development charges report, request a proposal as presented. And further, that council direct the interim CEO to bring a summary report and recommendation to the council meeting on February 11th, 2025. Thank you very much, Kelly. Okay, request for quotation. Could I have a mover and a seconder to table the request for quotations for the CAO Treasurer Recruitment Program, please? No program initiative. Thank you, Deputy Mayor Demarche. Thank you, Councillor Valiquette. Any questions on that? I'm glad that we're moving on this as soon as possible. Yes, go ahead, CAO. CAO Valiquette. The motion accept.
I don't know what it was. But
Valiquette, go ahead.
It didn't hurt. Through the mayor to the CIO. So I'm just kind of curious what your thoughts are on the expectation of sourcing or finding a person that would be able to perform the CAO and the treasury function?
Probably slim. Less than 5 in Ontario with the dual title.
But I think in your proposal, you are talking about CAO treasurer and then CAO and treasurer. That may be the way that we may have to go in this process. Am I correct?
Correct. And there may be options to, share treasury with another municipality.
Mhm.
I know we've got a rather unique accounting system, one of the few in Ontario that still uses the Assist product. So that makes it difficult, but we may be able to share a treasurer or look at options of somebody that's already employed in the industry. The act allows us to appoint a treasurer that isn't a municipal employee.
And then did you mention, Kelly, that you thought our system for accounting is basically MS-DOS based or whatever, and that there is a need that maybe we should reflect on moving to something, even though there's been updates along the way?
Yeah, there's updates along the way, and it currently is ported to a Windows environment. But most municipalities in Eastern Ontario used to be on USTI, and most have moved away from that product. Having said that, there is quite a upheaval in the industry and consolidation, as with a lot of software products. So it's probably not good timing until that
Okay.
gets sorted out.
Okay.
But it does make recruitment more difficult. If you've been working with Diamond Software, moving to USTI is kind of like going from Word to WordPerfect or Excel to
Oh,
Lotus 123. It's
Oh my gosh, okay.
Or a pencil?
yes, been there too.
Okay. At some point, would you be able to report back to us, like keep us apprised of, like, any developments in the industry that, might be the time to strike or whatever? Thank you. Yes, go ahead.
Just moving through the mayor, just going back what the CAO said, that these dual roles are very, I guess, rare is the right word. Would there be an opportunity for us, and he has mentioned about appointing treasurers and sharing, would there be an opportunity to us to extend our BSIB agreement, maybe with Sterling, that we already have that relationship with? Is that something that we could?
Well, for a treasurer perspective?
Yes.
Well, I mean, I think what Kelly will do is he's going to look at options for us and see what can be done. Speaking like, as Kelly mentioned, there's only 5 treasurer CAOs in the province. And when every conference I think we've all gone to, when they talk about employment issues faced by municipalities, even hiring staff even at the CAO level is extremely difficult because not enough people are moving into that area. And there are not enough people that have the expertise to be able to take on that role. So so even hiring a CAO may be a struggle. And I think, I will say, we're doing our employment equity review, and we're going to see a lot of our numbers likely go up considerably. And I think even trying to recruit a new CAO today, we're going to have to be paying more than we currently were. It's a given. It's a given that's going to happen. But back to what you were saying, that I think Kelly is going to look at opportunities where we can look at where we might be able to share a treasurer. I think we have a really good resource within our ranks. I will say that Gloria spoke very highly of Kate in particular as a potential treasurer. And so I think we make investments. We'll talk about career development, make investments with her, and also at the same time, look at how we can share a resource and trying to keep our costs down somewhat. But I think we're looking at 2 people for sure. Any questions? Good. Okay. Be it resolved that council receive the report, Chief Administration Officer Treasurer RFP for recruitment firm as presented, and further the council direct the interim CAO to bring a summary report and recommendation to the council meeting on January 28th, 2025. Public Works Manager, could I have a move and a seconder to table the Public Works Manager update, please? Thank you, Deputy Mayor DeMarsh. Thank you, Councillor Valley-Cat. Okay, any questions on Ryan's report? And then Ryan, I think you were going to speak to no, any questions? Go ahead.
So I have a question that I think the clerk will let me kind of wedge in here with relation to summer student postings. So
Right, yes, yes.
I've given some thought when we had our last budget meeting. We decided to pay the summer students the minimum wage of an entry-level person into that department. And I think we may be flawed a little bit in doing that.
Well, I think there's a huge issue now. Is that coming up anywhere or? And closed, that's being discussed and closed.
All right then.
Okay, thank you.
So I have nothing.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Oh, through the mayor to the public works manager. Just going back to my notice of motion from a couple of weeks ago, was there, they were doing some investigations to that? Was there any updates to that?
To the deputy mayor. I have spoke to MTO. I believe it's their manager there. There was concerns about putting signage for that kind of stuff within their right of way. Obviously, with our own right of way, we have the jurisdiction to put up whatever signage we like. Kind of thinking into it a bit more for the cost to put this signage up for local deliveries, and kind of put that out for local companies. I don't see the harm in it. For the couple $100,000 it's gonna cost for these signs, if it kind of mitigates that heavy truck traffic in our municipality, I think it saves us thousands down the road to get these heavy vehicles off our roadways. Or even if they don't abide by it, at least put that out there that they shouldn't be doing it. Even if it's a few here and there, I think it would make a big difference.
Well, that's not something I'm voting on today, that's for sure. Go ahead, Chuck.
Your worship and signage again, are they gonna pay attention to it or
That's
not?
right.
Like, I was coming to the last council meeting. There was a 18-wheeler coming down my road. What industry's down there?
Well, no, the problem though is that when you look at GPS, what it's doing, it's redirecting traffic that way. That's the point I'm making on the Flinton Road when I'm meeting with Minister Surma. Okay, GPS tracks traffic from Highway 41 through to Flinton Road out to Highway 7 because it cuts down on transit time. So we are paying for increased traffic on our roads as a result of GPS. That's what's happening with the trucks. It's the
Yeah, I
same
don't-
thing.
And
Like, you know,
your worship, I've been complaining about this for years. I used to go to work at 5:30 in the morning. You'd see.
Yeah.
All kinds of transport going through. And our roads aren't built for that kind of traffic, so. I don't know what we can do, really, and I appreciate Deputy Mayor DeMarce's interest in this. It needs to be fixed, but how do we do it? I don't know.
yes, go ahead. Sorry.
As I've said before, and I think Ryan kind of touched on, I'm not a big believer in putting in bylaws that can't be enforced. However, in this case, with those trucks rolling down Moneymore, and I heard it bit loud and clear on Moneymore Road. And I see it on Marlbank all the time. Like, there's no reason why a Coca-Cola truck needs to go up Marlbank Road. And you're never gonna solve the problem with the GPS. I don't even know who you go to, Apple and Google and all these big ones. But if you can even save 10 to 15% of that traffic, because they see the sign say, oh, well, I'll go to the next turnoff. Because as soon as you miss that turnoff, that GPS reroutes you. So what the thought process I had is that they miss those, they don't turn on that for whatever reason, back out to 41 highway and up 7 that way. But I think if it saves 10% of those trucks from banging on those roads, that's huge on those roads. And the intent was never to impede local deliveries. It's just these throughways too. And as we know, we can't afford to be fixing these roads all the time for throughway traffic. And the residents down in Moneymore especially are really concerned about the well-being of that road. It's getting pounded hard. And I think we need to do something as opposed to nothing. That's my thought.
Anybody else, any questions, comments? Ryan, your recommendation is to do it?
Through his worship, I don't see the harm in it for what it's gonna cost us to put up a few signs in our own jurisdiction.
And what did the sign say again?
We could word it several different ways. It would likely be something like local deliveries only, no heavy traffic, no heavy trucks. We could put a weight on it too. We can look into that a bit
Okay,
more.
look into it and come back to us for the next council meeting if you would, please. Okay, thank you. Any other questions on Ryan's report? Seeing none, thank you. Oh, sorry. Be it resolved that council accept the Public Works Department update as presented. Thank you very much. All in favor? Thank you. Community Development, I'm going to turn it over firstly to Cindy, who's, I think this is your first attendance representing, so thank you very much. I do want to mention to you, Cindy, I've had a lot of wonderful feedback on your continuing to run the programs for our municipality. And so thank you very much for stepping up. And I'm going to turn it over to you. Are there any questions, first of all, on Cindy's report? Does anybody, Cindy, is there anything you would like to talk to in particular in your report?
Well, we've just registered for the Quinte Sportsman Show, which is happening March 7th, 8th, and 9th, and we're excited.
Just
We're-
mention that again, okay?
We're excited to promote our recreational offerings, tourism assets, and local events. So that's going to be a really big push for all the service organizations, all the tourism sort of businesses out here. So I did a reach out, and everyone is excited to provide me promotional material and guides and brochures for that initiative.
Regarding the CIP,
Yes,
do we have any money set aside for this year in the CIP?
we do.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
And that
I
has
will-
been a very successful program.
Very successful, really good response from all the participants, and I'm gonna do a comprehensive report just to possibly make some recommendations
Okay,
or to improve the program. So that's just gonna take a little bit of time. But,
that's fine. Now, anytime we make an adjustment to the CIP, we have to go back.
Absolutely.
To the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing to have them review our CIP. We also have to do public consultation. It's a real pain in the butt, but we heard in the last election that people would like to see that extended to
Yes.
rural businesses and whatnot, even more so into our hamlets.
Yeah, that has
Some-
been one of the larger requests.
Okay, so I mean, it might be something we have to move to. So I look forward to your report whenever you have a chance, because I know you're
Yeah.
extremely busy managing all this on your own.
Well, I just want to present accurate data
Yeah,
and make, smart sort of conclusions and recommendations moving forward.
Okay, and then I'm gonna, any other questions of Cindy? Okay, and then I'm gonna turn it over to Jay. Jay, do you want to walk us through another little catastrophe?
All right, so we, our hot water tanks at the back of the arena, one quit working on us. So we are basically right now doing cold floods at the arena. And I think that just shut off. All right. Anyways, so I've got a couple quotes here. The first one I have here doesn't really have much of a description. I've reached back out to them for D&M Plumbing and Heating. I've reached back out to them to give more detailed. I just don't want to go with this quote as of right now, because it could be twice as much as what it is now, not having a detailed estimate. The second quote I have sorry, the first quote with the hot water tanks, I think with that, we're only gonna get, that's what we have right now, we're only gonna get 5-6 years out of hot water tanks.
Okay, which, when you say first quote, is that the one
That's the
14,000?
D&M Plumbing and Heating. Those are the first quotes that I've got from them.
Okay,
They're just not detailed. Now, the hot water tanks, they should just basically go right back in.
uh-huh.
No extras, right? The second one they put down, a boiler system. The boiler system, it's not detailed.
Oh, okay, I got you, okay.
With the other quote I have from the other company, it's detailed right down to fittings and everything, which there's no extra surprise costs. In the second quote from RP Universal, I reached out to D&M for a more of a breakdown. I don't want to say, because they are cheaper, I don't want to say, yeah, go ahead. And then they come over 3 times as much.
Okay, so, by looking at the quotes and I look at the cheapest one there, that's just the replacement. Taking a tank out and putting a tank in.
Taking both tanks out, they were installed at the exact same
Yeah.
time, so if we only changed one, the second one could go within minutes.
Okay, so no, so.
Don't
say-
know.
Why are we moving to the other 2 quotes, which are more expensive at this time?
Well, so with the hot water tanks, we're getting probably right around anywhere from 70% of our, so 70% of the gas. So if you went like 100% to 80%, you're losing like $15 a day, right? During the operation time. If you go the boiler system, you're running around 95% efficiency. So you're only losing like a couple dollars a day in the scheme of things. If we go the boiler system, we're looking about 15 years minimum plus years with the boiler system. Hot water tanks, we're looking anywhere from the ones we got in there now, they said they were surprised they lasted 7 years. I just don't know which way to go. I know we've had talks of,
So what are you using now then?
right now we are on 1 hot water tank, so we're basically doing cold floods all day.
Okay, and that's, the 1 hot water tank is still okay for the showers and stuff?
So that's completely separate.
Okay,
Yeah, so we have a boiler system up at the front that runs our heat and domestic water, and then we have another system at the back
okay.
to run the Zamboni.
Okay. Okay.
And the heat at the back.
Is it jeopardizing the quality of the ice?
Yes. The only other way we could do cold water floods if we put another system in, and that's right around, the last I heard was right around $75,000. And I don't think we want to do that right now.
Okay, so then you're waiting to get clarification on this other quote of 14,400.
Yes.
With detailed breakdown, so then you will come back to us at the next council meeting? Do we wait that long? or-
Well, we can't wait that long. I reached out to them. I'm hoping to have something back sometime today with a breakdown on that quote. Because I wouldn't go with this quote because I don't know what they're doing, to be quite honest.
That's fine. Okay, Kelly, what do we do here then? If we don't have a quote that we can't vote on?
Yeah, 2 options. We could set an upset limit
Okay,
and give direction to take the lowest satisfactory quote within that. Or we could hold a special council meeting with 48 hours.
because I don't want to give an up limit, because then the other person, this company could come in and come close to that up limit. It gives them
An advantage.
an advantage. So, that's Jim. I'm a council Fleeler.
Your worship, we're talking about two different things here. One is a boiler system.
That's right.
Yeah.
The other one is 2 hot water tanks. So you mentioned, Jay, that we use the boiler system in the front,
We use a boiler system in the front. Yeah.
so. Can we ask who installed that, or can we? I don't wanna get in trouble.
If I'm not mistaken, when they did the renovations, I think it was Bosley's that installed it.
Okay,
Yeah.
and you have no problem with that? The boiler system?
With the boiler system at the front, none whatsoever. I don't know. I think that new addition's, how old's the new addition? I think it's almost 14 years now. And those boilers are running strong. The only thing I can say with if we put the boiler system in, we could always possibly remove it and put it in the new building if, depending on when, because I know there is talks of a new arena, right?
Your boiling system will be out.
Yeah, right. So I'm just thinking the boiler system in the long run would be our best way to go. Short term, just replace the hot water tanks and maybe save some money up for a boiler system in the later on. I'm not sure.
Deputy Mayor DeMarsh, then Councilor Valiquette.
Okay, so just a couple of things here. I think from what I know and what you're telling me here, any difference, my suggestion is to go back to the hot water tanks. Yes, maybe a little less efficient, but it's gonna be 3 times the cost to put the boiler in. And I don't think you're gonna reap those benefits, even if you've got to replace those hot water tanks 3 times. I don't think you're gonna see much. I don't think you're gonna see enough savings to offset that cost. And the other thing too is, this one's from Foxborough. Do we have any other local companies that can,
That's
other than, I know we got RP, but is there any other local ones that can look at these hot water tanks and give us prices as opposed to out of town?
So the big problem is trying to find a company that works with gas. A lot of the companies don't have gas technicians yet. And these are the two, so we already have D&M coming and working on our boiler system now. They are very familiar with our boiler system, so that's who we have right now. RMP, they do deal with boiler systems, but not all of the time. That's why we don't use them with our boiler system now. But I'm okay with the hot water tanks. I don't know.
I think right now, because of the budget limitations that we're under and everything, we might be further ahead just to replace the tanks at this time. Until we can get our house in better financial shape.
So Mayor, can I, seeing that we kind of seem to be on the same page, can I motion that we go with?
Well, I want to
R&D?
have further discussion on this first, okay? Because Councilor Valiquette didn't get a
Okay.
chance to speak yet. Go ahead.
So I'm curious about the longevity of the hot water tank. So you're saying 5 to 8 years?
5 to
7.
we got 7 out of the ones we have now.
Okay.
And they were surprised they lasted 7 years.
And so we're not softening the water or we're not doing anything to. treat the
No,
water?
we have a hot water, or we have a water softener at the back. It was installed. Now I've had a couple of people come in, obviously looking at these quotes, and they're saying that the water softener isn't big enough for the water flow. I don't even know who installed it. I was there when it was installed, but I couldn't tell you who installed it.
And my next question,
Okay.
just on top of, are we softening the water? Do we service the hot water tanks? Do we, there's the anode rod that's inside. Do we clean that every year to try to extend the longevity? Do we flush the tanks?
There's,
Because they're only being used, I'm gonna say half a year.
yeah, there's not really much maintenance to them that we can do. So no, we haven't really done anything to them. With the tanks that we have, there is no maintenance. We could empty them.
No, I know,
Every
but there-
season.
But there is the anodized rod that sits in them that you can pull every year and replace. And it just keeps drawing in the hard water, which helps extend the life of the actual.
All right, then no, we have not done that.
Okay, no, but I
I'm
mean,
just
Yeah.
throwing out there, are there
Yeah.
maintenance things we could do to
Yeah.
extend them
To
so they
extend the
last
life,
6
okay.
years?
Yeah.
okay.
Now it blew out at the bottom of the tank, so I don't know if that would help or not. I don't know, but we can definitely do that. That's for sure.
Okay, okay, any other questions before we go to Deputy Mayor Marston's motion? Go ahead.
No. So my motion would be we just go to RP Universal for the new installation of just the hot water tanks.
Could I have a seconder there? Thank you. Councilor Valiquette, all in favor? Thank you. Thank you, Jay. And Jay, maybe we also can look like, I know Ryan has introduced, say, rigid maintenance project for our machinery and equipment. Maybe we could look at what we might be able to do on the arena area as well. Okay, when you get a chance.
When they install it, I will ask them for a maintenance, some kind of
Thank you.
schedule that they could have.
Yes, go ahead.
This will be really quick. I might want to apologize because I know in an electric hot water tank, there's the rod in it. I'm not sure about gas.
So, you know,
Yeah,
there is one.
is there?
Okay. Anything else, Jay, that you needed to report at this time? Are you okay?
I think everything else is good.
Okay, thank you. Could I have, okay. Oh, I thought. Did we not do a move in a second? Be it resolved that council, community development and recreation update is presented. Okay, could I have a mover and a seconder to table that report, please? Thank you, Councillor Fleeler. Thank you. Okay. Okay, thank you, Deputy Mayor DeMarsh. Be it resolved that council receive the Community Development, Parks and Recreation Department update as presented. We have a mover and a seconder for the motion. Be it resolved that council receive the verbal report of the Parks and Recreation Supervisor regarding the replacement of the hot water tank at the arena, and further that the Parks and Recreation Supervisor be authorized to replace the tanks with RP Universal as quoted. And that is just that's just for the 2 tanks, right? Okay, all in favor? Thank you. Fire Chief, oh, there he is. Welcome, Derek. Could I have a mover and a seconder to table the Fire Department update, please? Thank you, Councillor Valiquette. Thank you, Councillor Fleeler. Derek, over to you. Any questions of Derek, first of all? Okay, go ahead if there's anything you would like in particular to.
Through the mayor, and council, morning. So we do have a couple things. We have been working on grants and stuff, and we have got a few grants received for the department. We do have a couple things that are kind of the one that we've received from the fire protection grant, which we're going to use towards cancer prevention stuff for the fire department. That's what it's meant for. We did receive $8,200 for their 8,230.45 towards that. They are late coming out with these grants. We have to have them spent by, I believe it is end of March, kind of thing, but or whatever. The only receiving is I just got a call, was talking with our suppliers for the equipment. We were looking at buying a new extractor for the fire station there to increase our productivity on the cleaning after major cleanups and whatever, to get rid of the carcinogens and stuff off our equipment. The thing is, we wait on this thing here. I know we're waiting to bring it back through funds that we'd asked for in 2025 budget. But the prices and stuff increase and stuff with the all the fun that's going on right now with the American money and stuff, American dollar and stuff. The prices are increasing. This is good, but this one thing is, this is a purchase in Canada, but they do purchase. It does affect us in Canada anyways with the building of the equipment. Is that we would talk about going ahead and getting this thing ordered here and on our way before, because this is something that has to be spent before the end of March, and depending on our funds or whatever, to go ahead, because it has gone up in price already from when we quoted it back in.
So what is the quote now?
We're at about 19,000 for the unit now. We kind of knew it was about 17-ish and change or whatever, but we're at about 19,000 for it now, and it could go up again yet here with tariffs and stuff or whatever. So I know I did this. We applied for the same grant in Sterling. We did the grant. We actually applied for both to try to get our best. We need a dryer too as well to go with it, because it kind of goes hand in hand, but it's about 31,000 to do both the projects. We decided we do one this year and then try to do one because it's a 3-year grant to go for the dryer next year. And we do have some other grant proposals doing it. Maybe we may be able to get that funding for the dryer this year anyways, but I thought asked council about their thoughts on ordering this thing, getting on the way. I mean, it isn't far away, but we've got 444 municipal fire departments that received this grant and stuff. We're gonna have a hard time getting the stuff in before.
So you're putting it towards the cost of this.
Towards the cost.
Yes, and we don't want to lose it, and you have to spend it, and it's going towards that initiative. Okay.
Bring this forward to the council before we did that. The other one is the grant we received from the Royal Canadian Legion, which we are very grateful that they support us with a lot of our medical equipment. They give us the money this year to purchase 3 new defibrillators, which is good to upgrade our stuff that we're due to replace ours in the department, which is awesome. They give us $6,567 towards that. I think we're responsible for is HSD on that. So that's kind of a win. That's a really good, great deal for the municipality in that going forward, we go ahead and I just want to notify council that we will go ahead and purchase these at this time. So, and besides that, that's the only little things on the update I put in there. I mentioned the last thing. Still working on the Bill 228 resources management. I will bring that back soon. I get some more information back on from the M&R on what it is going to affect our area. By the looks of it, it's not going to affect. It's going to be just staffing and stuff with the M&R area. I don't think it's going to affect us personally a lot of. But I will give you. I'll bring a report back soon as I do get that back from the M&R report.
And then you also got 5,000 from Enbridge.
So I got $5,000 too also from Enbridge. We do usually receive that back and forth each department. We get smoke detectors 1 year. This year we received $5,000 towards our training books. So the newest 8 has come out for our manuals for training for certification. It couldn't come at a better time, so now we will be able to purchase all the new books and stuff for our certification. So it's going to help us going forward with our training manuals and stuff. And that's what will give us enough to do all the departments. So it's great.
Wonderful. I mean, wonderful to get all that financial support from our community and from others as well. Any questions on? Oh, we had a question about the brush fires. Like, you know, in your report, there are a number of brush fires that you've had to tend to. How are those brush fires? Have they been started? Have you been able?
It's basically this year it's just been people doing their 7-7 burning kind of things like that, or else it's we've had a couple that have been I think smoking articles, whatever, and through the ditch type things. And the other thing, people have been burning their 7-7. We've had a lot of dry ground, and it's been the night wind conditions pick up the next day kind of thing. And they've been burn piles actually too. And we've had them burn piles that we lit up the next day from they weren't burning the previous days, and the winds got underneath them and got them going. But it's been.
Is there a charge?
If you get caught your first time, you're allowed to you get on the discretion of us, but they've definitely been legitimate type things. But if there's any continuous that, there's absolutely charge.
Because then when we charge for it, is it a fixed charge or is it the cost of the whole operation?
No, so there's a fixed charge for that thing, like depending on security. Make sure you have your burn permit. That's your first thing. If you're burning out of there, they've been burning outside the hours. We've also got charges too for that was anyways it's on the fixed charges that if there's any negligent ones, people that are burning outside the burning hours. Now we've taken our burn regulations off, but if they were burning in between that 7-7 and it wasn't legitimately proved that it was, then yeah, there's the charges of truck charges, MTO rate, which I think is $570 some an hour per truck, and then that gives you 2 manpower plus manpower can be charged as well for that through our.
Well, I think we should be charging. I mean, when that kind of thing has happened. Okay, good enough.
There's people not burning under our burn regulation for sure.
Okay. Lori, do we make a motion to for Derek to be able to proceed with the purchase of the equipment he's needing?
I added it into the motion.
Okay. Oh, my little radar from MASH. Yes, thank you. Okay. Any other questions of Derek? Seeing none. Be it resolved that council receive the fire department update as presented, and further that council authorize the fire chief to proceed with the purchase of the extractor, washer, and washer. I think dryer is not till next year, right? That's right. Nice try slipping that in, eh? That's okay. All in favor? Thank you. By law enforcement, could I have a move and a second to table the by law enforcement update as of November 2024, Tweed by law operations log report, and statement of revenue and expenditures as of November 30th, 2024. Thank you, Deputy Mayor DeMarsh. Thank you, Councillor Valleycat. Okay, any questions on that report? Okay, seeing none. Be it resolved that council received the November 2024 Tweed by law operations log is presented. All in favor? Thank you. Could I have a mover and a seconder to table the Building Inspection Services BISB November 2024 Building Permits Report and Statement of Revenue and Expenditures as of November 30th, 2024, please? Thank you. Oh, I guess we just do all of the committee reports together. Okay, so that would have been to table the committee reports, Peter, and who was the other one, did I say? Okay, Counselor Fleeler. Okay, and then are there any questions on the building inspection report? Seeing none. Be it resolved that council receive the committee board reports as presented. All in favor? Thank you. Bylaws. Could I have a mover and a second to table bylaw number 2025-01, a bylaw to appoint an interim chief administration officer, CIO, and deputy clerk, and to repeal bylaw number 2019-55. I'm moving to seconder, please. Thank you, Deputy Mayor LaMarche. Thank you, Councillor Fleeler. Any questions? I don't know. Just shady character. Be it resolved that bylaw number 2025-01 be read a first, second, third, and final time, passed, signed, and sealed in open council this 14th day of January 2025. All in favor? Thank you. Could I have a mover and a seconder to table bylaw number 2025-02, a bylaw to approve and authorize the execution of the marriage license modernization phase 2 participation agreement? Moving to seconder, please. Thank you, Councillor Fleeler. Thank you, Councillor Valiquette. Any questions on that? Seeing none, be it resolved that bylaw number 2025-02 be ready first, second, third, and final time, passed, signed, and sealed in open council this 14th day of January 2025. All in favor? Thank you. Could I have a mover and a seconder to table bylaw number 2025-03, a bylaw to amend bylaw number 2024-05 and to repeal bylaw number 2024-14, being a bylaw to impose fees and charges on persons for services and activities carried out by the municipality. Moving to seconder, please. Thank you, Deputy Mayor LaMarche, and thank you, Councillor Fleeler. Be it resolved that bylaw number 2025-03 be read a first, second, third, and final time, passed, signed, and sealed in open council this 14th day of January 2025. All in favor? Thank you. Could I have a mover and a second to table bylaw number 2025-04, a bylaw to authorize delegated authority to temporarily close a municipal road in the municipality of Tweed? A mover and a seconder. Thank you, Councillor Valiquette. Thank you, Deputy Mayor LaMarche. Any questions on said bylaw? Seeing none, be it resolved that bylaw number 2025-04 be read a first, second, third, and final time, passed, signed, and sealed in open council this 14th day of January 2025. All in favor? Thank you. Could I have a mover and a seconder to table bylaw number 2025-05, a bylaw to amend comprehensive zoning bylaw 2012-30 as amended for property located at 17 Countryman Road? Now, I'm turning this over to Lucas because we have an addition to this.
Yeah, through the mayor to all of council, just a small amendment, administrative amendment. Like to add that the holding symbol shall be removed by bylaw once site plan approval can be applied to the subject lands prior to development. The developers reviewed the bylaw on the public agenda and requested that, and that does make sense to have that administrative mechanism in there for the holding removal. So I'd request council pass the bylaw as amended with that provision.
Could I have a mover and a seconder to get that on the table? Thank you, Councillor Valiquette. Thank you, Councillor Fleeler. Any questions on the bylaw and said amendment? Seeing none. Be it resolved that bylaw number 2025-05 as amended be read a first, second, third, and final time, passed, signed, and sealed in open council this 14th day of January 2025. All in favor? Thank you. Could I have a mover and a seconder to table bylaw number 2025-06, a bylaw to authorize an interim tax levy prior to the adoption of the estimates for the year 2025 and to provide for penalty and interest on unpaid taxes? A mover and a second. Thank you, Deputy Mayor LaMarche. Thank you, Councillor Valiquette. Any questions on said bylaw? Seeing none, be it resolved that bylaw number 2025-06 be read a first, second, and third and final time, passed, signed, and sealed in open council this 14th day of January 2025. All in favor? Thank you. Could I have a mover and a seconder to table bylaw number 2025-07, a bylaw respecting the borrowing of money by the corporation of the municipality of Tweed? Mover and a seconder, please. Thank you, Councillor Valiquette. Thank you, Councillor Fleeler. Any questions on said bylaw? Your hand is up because you have a question.
Sure.
That's okay. Be it resolved that bylaw number 2025-07 be read a first, second, third, and final time, passed, signed, and sealed in open council this 14th day of January 2025. All in favor? Thank you. Items for consideration. Could I have a mover and a seconder This came in late. Moving a seconder for the Alzheimer's Society request for proclamation of January 2025 as National Alzheimer's Awareness Month in Tweed. Thank you, Councillor Valiquette. Thank you, Deputy Mayor Demarche. I assume anybody have any questions or concerns? Seeing none. Be it resolved that Council proclaim January 2025 as National Alzheimer Awareness Month in Tweed as requested. And further, that this proclamation be advertised in a municipal news column and posted on a municipal website and social media. All in favor? Thank you. Did I have a mover and a seconder for supporting a passionate approach to homelessness in our community? A request for support re not using the notwithstanding clause to break up homeless encampments without providing adequate alternatives. This is the letter to which Victoria was referring to at the very end of her presentation. Could I have a mover and a seconder, please, to table that? Thank you, Councillor Fleeler. Thank you, Deputy Mayor Demarche. I would like to write a letter expressing my concern about issuing having the Premier issuing a notwithstanding clause from a number of perspectives. First of all, the notwithstanding clause, okay, is not something that should be used frivolously. And it's becoming more and more commonplace to use this to try and get around the protection of rights and freedoms. So I have that concern. The other thing is by doing this, we are targeting a targeted population that is already in desperation, and mental health and addiction issues are a healthcare concern, and the province responsible for health should be addressing this by providing the necessary funds that are required to help municipalities such as Belleville, for example, and other major municipalities pay for service and helping these people get through these difficult times. The other thing is, I want to point out that both Ottawa and Toronto did not sign on to this declaration. Okay, it was a number of Brampton and a number of municipalities. I don't even know if Mississauga did. I don't think Mississauga did either. So this is a request to say that we are opposed to the issuing of using the notwithstanding clause to clear people out from encampments and to find other ways of being able to do this. So my concern is, I will put in there, this is a provincial responsibility, and that they should be providing the necessary funds to address the crisis. Yes, please go ahead, Councillor Fleeler.
Are you finished?
Yes, I am. Are you finished? That was your question. Oh.
I'm just kidding. So, Your Worship, whether it's true or not, almost 400 homeless people in Belleville.
Oh, yeah.
So, as soon as the shelter was built, a 12-bed unit, apparently, I don't know if it's true, but people started coming in on buses to Belleville, sent from cities.
Well,
I hope that's not true. My God, I hope that's not true.
I hope it's not true. I've heard this myself, but I hope this is not true too.
But 400 homeless people in the small city of Belleville.
Oh, yeah. This is Mayor Ellis's responsibility, and this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Municipalities are not equipped to deal with this. And okay, any other question? But thank you for raising that. Yes, Deputy Mayor Marsh.
Mayor, I just was confused in this letter that you received. Where did the idea of incarceration come in? I've never heard that. Because she's put in her letter, the answer is not jail. So where did that idea come from?
Well,
I've seen that a couple times here, and I was really confused with where
okay, when I'm saying support, I'm writing my own letter on behalf of the municipality stating this council is not in favor of using the notwithstanding clause to deal with this crisis. That's all my.
Oh, okay, but the question I had was,
I don't know.
Where did they get this information of incarceration?
I don't know,
right?
so you don't have the person here.
Yeah,
who
no,
wrote the letter to ask, so yes, go ahead.
Very briefly, even though we may or may not support the letter and the not using the notwithstanding clause, there are still other avenues to deal with people who are involved in living in encampments.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so am I okay? Be it resolved that Mayor DeGeno will write a letter to Premier Doug Ford informing him that the municipality does not support the use of the notwithstanding clause to break up homeless encampments without providing adequate alternatives. Are we all in favor? Thank you. Okay, will you write me something? Do you want me to write something? I can. You'll take care of it? Thank you. Okay, at this point, we're going to be moving into a closed meeting. So, be it resolved that council go into a closed meeting at Lucas.
10:47.
Could I have a mover and a seconder, please? Thank you, Deputy Mayor Marsh, and thank you, Councilor Valiquette. All in favor? Thank you. Thank you, Jim. Notice of. Okay, this is a notice of closed meeting and staff direction. Could I have a move and a seconder, please? Thank you, Councillor Valiquette. Thank you, Deputy Mayor Demarche. Be it resolved that staff follow council direction from the closed meeting. All in favor? Secondly. Also, I apologize. We should have come out of closed. We made a motion in closed to extend our meeting beyond 12, but that should have been done publicly. So I am now making a motion to extend our meeting beyond 12 o'clock. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please? Thank you, Councillor Valiquette. Thank you, Councillor Fleeler. All in favor? Thank you. Sorry about that, Lori. Correspondence information. Okay, we did that. Okay. Just scooting through these because some of them are. Okay. Okay, we had some more of support for resolutions of council. Okay. I cited a couple of articles dealing with well, one thing I wanted to talk about, there was also, and we might want to entertain this and make people aware, that the federal government has started a new program. I don't think it needs to be approved in the House. I don't think prorogued Parliament impacts it. It's about a rental suites program where they will contribute $80,000 in a loan for the building of an additional suite on your property or your attachment to your home. And it's a guaranteed 2% interest rate for 15 years, I think. And so this might be something that people might want to entertain in our community because we do allow secondary suites on properties. So that would be a way to increase rental opportunities within the municipality. Okay, double intelligence. Yes, please go ahead.
Your worship, we see new apartments being built, nobody's in them. The rent wage ratio,
Well, there
is
could
that prohibitive?
Could be.
Like I like to see these things built, but I'd like to see some people in them as well.
Totally.
Yeah.
Landlords open them up for rent, activity.
Yeah, Actinolite, yeah, you're right. And I think that's pretty much filled. Okay, that's basically it because I cited the other articles in my opening remarks. Anybody have any comments? Okay, oh, yeah, go ahead.
Well, going through all these things and in the words of the premier, we need to see words put into visible action.
Yeah.
So all these things that we're helping, all these things, I shook his hand at the last Good Roads thing. He was supposed to come and talk to me. Haven't seen him. Anyway.
I have asked, I will say, I asked MPP Brissy to set me up for a 10-minute meeting, only 10 minutes with Premier Ford. So we'll see if he's able to do it because he will be at Roma, Premier Ford. I only want 10 minutes to talk about what we're facing in this community.
Yeah. And also, your worship, we've asked for a few $1 million worth of help and they waste billions. That Ontario Science Center, money's gone.
Yeah.
It's gone. We put resolution forward that would have put money in the infrastructure of Ontario. Nobody heard us.
Oh, no, you have a whole bunch of people heard you.
Well, yeah, but.
Yes.
But as I stated.
Not the government.
The premier says we need to see some of these words put into visible action.
Yeah. No, well, nobody could ever say that this municipality hasn't done its share to bring these issues to the forefront. And I thank you all for doing that and all your motions to help address the financial situations being faced by small rural municipalities. So anything else? Yes, Councillor Fleet.
One more, just a quickie. like-
Sure, which
like,
one?
And you've addressed it, Belleville Intelligencer, Luke Kendry, I think, 16.12.3.
Uh-huh.
Council and staff are asking to commit $80,000 to hire a consultant to help in updating their asset management plan. Like, we can't keep doing this. We can't keep.
But this is for at the county level.
You know,
And you wouldn't believe the number of buildings they have and we're in a very bad situation in county. When you look at asset management plan, we think we're bad. You think of all of the things that they've got. It's huge.
Yeah.
I know, but the thing is, I think we all agree that although it's a cost that we have to incur, we are grateful that we are now doing asset management plans because it's laid out for us what we have coming down the pipeline in regards to funds that we need to be able to secure. Ours have gone from 11.5 our last asset management plan to 13.1 million now that we're supposed to put away for the next 15 to 20 years.
They set goals are not achievable.
No. Well, that's just it. But we know now, what is everybody was going by the seat of their pants before, responding to things as they happen, not recognizing what was coming down the pipeline. These asset management plans are pretty much laid out what we have coming down the pipeline. And I'm grateful because it really sets in, it paints a picture of how dire the situation is. You were going to say something, Councillor.
And your worship, this is the third round for this asset management thing. Like, I mean, let's get the thing so that it works and let's use it.
Yeah.
Let's put these plans into action, visible action.
Yeah, no. Okay, thank you. Anything else? Seeing none, did we? Oh, could I have a mover and a seconder to table all of those, please, that we just discussed? Thank you, Deputy Mayor Demarche. Thank you, Councillor Valley-Kett. Be it resolved that correspondence information be received and filed. All in favor? Thank you. Also, could I have a mover and a seconder for the conformatory bylaw number 2025-08? Thank you, Councillor Fleeler. Thank you, Councillor Valley-Kett. Be it resolved that conformatory bylaw number 2025-08 be read a first, second, third, and final time, passed, signed, and sealed in open council this 14th day of January 25. All in favor? Thank you. Could I have a mover and a seconder for the adjournment of today's meeting, please? Thank you, Deputy Mayor Demarche. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Before we go, good for you. Okay, we need to set a meeting for our next budget meeting, and I did want that to happen after Roma because there may be a possibility that there may be a possibility that there might be some announcements made at Roma in regards to funding. And I don't know if everybody's now heard too, there is the provincial government may be calling an election shortly.
Yeah.
Only because Premier Ford has come out and said that he now needs approval of the residents of the province of Ontario to spend billions of dollars during the Trump tariff period. So it's probably going to happen. He's looking, they're talking maybe next month or something.
It's never asked before.
No.
So
sorry.
So just I want to let you know that is something that's going to be.
So I heard that a long time ago, and I heard that all the people that go on holidays will be gone.
Well, we'll see what's going to happen there. Okay, so anyway, we need a new date. Okay. So. This is okay, we have council meeting on the 28th and it is a regular council meeting. Do we want to do it? I don't know what to do here. Anybody got any ideas? Do we want to do it the day of and have it earlier in the day, or is that too much for you guys when we do that kind of thing?
It's hard.
That's hard. Okay, then we'll have to pick another day. I think we should do it in January.
No, just for.
Or you said you're going away.
I may be going away either 25th or the 1st, between the 25th and the 8th. No, if you guys gotta go ahead and do it, go ahead. But-
Oh, yeah, that's the easy way out.
So we haven't
Nope.
we haven't booked anything yet, but we're looking at it real close.
No, I want all of council involved, so I don't want it, Kelly, what's the latest that we should be looking at a final budget?
Because we have a number of issues pending, and I was just talking to the chief too, and he's worried about tariff implications on truck parts and everything else, so.
Oh,
Could we do our regular council meeting in the morning on the 11th and then do it in the afternoon,
on the 11th.
February 11th?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
When's that?
Okay, we have a regular council meeting on February 11th, and then that afternoon we would do a budget meeting, which will likely be our final budget meeting, I would think.
Yeah, we can take a break at noon and have some sandwiches or something and then start again at 1 or 1:30.
Okay, are we okay with that? Okay, let's put that down then, Lori, that the final budget meeting. Okay, will be on the 11th, and we'll say at 1. Let's try to not have any delegations then on that date. Okay, oops. Okay, the other thing is I will provide everybody with a list of all my delegations, okay, of the times and everything, so everybody has a record of that at the Roma conference. Okay, we'll go back to. Oops. Okay, conformatory bylaw, or we did adjournment. Okay, so I had Deputy Mayor Demarche as the mover for the adjournment, and thank you, Councilor Valiquette. Okay, be it resolved that council adjourn at Lori. 12:26. Thank you, everyone. Great meeting. Thank you. Good of you to see us through all of this.